You type a carefully crafted sentence into Claude. The answer comes back almost instantly. It sounds incredibly polished, beat. But you read it and, well, it feels hollow. So you rewrite it yourself.
Yeah, it is the classic modern trap, really. We totally expect these large language models to just be telepathic. We give them a single vague sentence. Then we expect a perfectly customized masterpiece in return.
Right. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at 5 essential frameworks. These are specifically for advanced Claude prompt engineering.
The core problem here is surprisingly simple. When you leave a prompt vague, Claude has to guess. And its guess is rarely specific to your actual life.
Our mission today is to fix that. We are breaking down 5 specific frameworks from our source material. We want to stop the guessing game entirely.
We really do. We treat AI like a mind reader. It is a highly capable reasoning engine, sure, but it fundamentally lacks your personal everyday context.
Let's examine the mechanics of this. Why does the AI default to generic business speak?
It comes down to token prediction. That means how the AI guesses the most mathematically likely next word.
And when your prompt is vague, the most likely next word is just average.
Exactly. It defaults to the mathematical average of the internet. If you ask for a marketing strategy, it gives you a generic template.
It does not know your budget. It does not know your audience.
Right. It fills in the blanks with completely generic assumptions.
I have to admit something here. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. I just keep tweaking adjectives in my prompts.
Oh, we all do that. We keep hoping it magically understands our true intent, but tweaking a vague prompt rarely yields better results.
You are just shuffling around the same generic outputs.
Totally. The fix requires flipping the script. We use the interview reverse Uno framework.
How does that actually work in practice?
You literally tell Claude to interview you first. You say, interview me about every aspect of this project. Ask one question at a time.
So it gathers facts before generating any output.
Yes. It completely shifts the burden of discovery. It will ask about your past failures. It digs into your strict budget limitations.
It essentially builds a comprehensive brief. Most human coworkers never even get a brief that detailed.
Right, and that one question at a time rule is crucial. If you let it ask 20 questions at once, you just get overwhelmed.
Answering one by one creates a real conversational flow.
Exactly. Claude uses your answers to formulate the next logical question. It maps the specific parameters of your reality.
It's like going to a tailor. They need your exact measurements before cutting the fabric.
That is a perfect analogy. The final output is anchored in reality, not statistical averages.
Doesn't answering 15 questions take too much time?
It feels like a heavy upfront cost, sure, but you have to measure it against the alternative. It saves you hours of painful manual editing later.
So 10 quick questions now save hours of rewriting later.
Exactly. You pay a small tax up front for massive efficiency.
Okay, so we have that initial draft now, but reading it through your own eyes is rarely enough.
No, your own perspective is naturally biased. You know what you meant to say.
We need specialized lenses to spot the hidden flaws.
Anthropic's engineering guide recommends a 3-step chain for reviews. You run separate reviews for very specific angles.
Walk me through those specific angles.
First, you run a CFO pass. You explicitly ask Claude to look for missing numbers or unquantified financial risks.
It catches vague estimates that you just glossed over.
Exactly. Next is the client pass. You ask what feels overly generic to the end user. Does it address their actual operational reality?
And the third pass.
The skeptical pass. You tell Claude to aggressively look for logical gaps. You ask it to find unaddressed implementation risks.
Why not just ask Claude to review it for everything all at once?
One single review pass dilutes the focus entirely. You just get shallow, bulleted feedback.
Running separate passes forces deep analysis on one dimension.
Yeah, and there's a crucial detail here. Anthropic specifically notes that naming the angle works better than assigning a heavy role.
So you see, focus on financial risk.
Right. You never say, you are a senior CFO.
Why does that distinction matter so much to the model?
When you assign a heavy persona, you distract the AI. It spends processing power predicting personality quirks.
It might adopt a formal tone, wasting attention on sounding like a banker.
Exactly. Naming the angle keeps it locked on the underlying logic. It evaluates the math instead of playing a character.
Can I swap these specific angles out?
You absolutely should customize them. You match the review angle to your real reader, like an investor or a compliance officer.
Right, just match the review angle to your actual real-world reader.
That ensures the feedback is actually relevant to you. Now, multi-angle reviews work beautifully for standard drafts.
But what if the document is massive? The standard memory starts to break down.
You cannot ask for a massive document in one breath. If you ask for a 50-page proposal immediately, it fails.
You get a thin, generic first draft. It stretches the context window way too thin.
Right.
And a context window is just the maximum amount of text the AI can remember at once.
Exactly. When you ask for everything simultaneously, the attention mechanism degrades. It loses the plot halfway through.
This brings us to framework number 3, building long documents with a prompt chain.
Anthropic strongly supports this method. Prompt chaining is linking multiple AI requests where each builds on the last.
It is like stacking Lego blocks of data. You lock the foundation first.
I love that. You break the request into 4 distinct stages. Stage 1 is the brief.
You ask Claude to draft a 1-page strategic summary.
Right. It explicitly covers the goal, target audience, and key questions. And you review that brief carefully.
You must approve the foundational logic before moving forward.
Always. Stage 2 is the research phase. Claude independently researches each key question from your brief.
It gathers all the raw materials needed for the argument.
Then we move to stage 3, the outline. Claude builds a detailed section-by-section outline using the approved research.
And then comes the final stage, the actual draft.
Stage 4 is the full draft. Claude writes the document based entirely on that strict outline.
By this point, it has absolutely everything it needs.
It doesn't need to guess at any variables. It can dedicate all its processing power to writing quality prose.
You catch fundamental errors incredibly early this way.
Exactly. A bad outline takes maybe 1 minute to fix. A bad 15-page draft takes an hour to manually fix.
Is this 4-step chain overkill for an email?
Oh, it is absolutely overkill for a quick email. You skip the heavy chain for simple daily posts.
Got it. Save the heavy chaining for complex proposals and research.
You only deploy it when the cognitive load is extremely high.
Mid-roll sponsor, read placeholder. Okay, we are back. We just mapped out massive written documents. Now let's zoom out. We need to map out massive real-world projects.
When a major new project lands, people usually feel immense pressure.
They start executing whatever task feels the most urgent.
But urgent doesn't mean important. Starting with the wrong task can cost you days.
You end up waiting on approvals you completely forgot to request.
So you feed Claude the entire raw project scope. You ask it to break the project into truly independent tasks.
Large language models are excellent at sequential logic parsing.
They really are. You explicitly ask for task dependencies and technical blockers. You ask what tasks can run in parallel tracks.
The source material has a great example here. Building a new pricing page.
Let's trace that chain. A public pricing page fundamentally depends on a formal legal review.
And the legal review depends on the final pricing model.
Exactly. And the pricing model depends on a thorough competitive analysis.
The hidden chain dictates your actual schedule. So you start competitive analysis on day 1.
Right. You do not wait until day 5. Because if you do, design gets blocked for 2 weeks by legal later on.
2-sec silence. Whoa. Imagine scaling this to map an entire company's launch plan.
It is an incredibly powerful strategic application. It surfaces exactly what work can run in parallel safely.
Does this framework actually prevent project panic?
It genuinely does. Seeing the true logical shape of a project is very calming. It removes pressure-based decisions entirely.
You start moving based on pure logic, not the pressure of urgency.
You operate from a clear roadmap instead of blind panic. Which brings us to the 5th and final framework.
We have built an incredible workflow across these prompts, but there's a massive friction point remaining.
Repeating complex setup instructions every single day will burn you out.
It eats 10 minutes of typing before the real work even begins.
It's exhausting. The permanent fix is storing persistent context. You use a feature called Claude Projects.
Anthropic says this prevents you from providing the same info repeatedly.
Yeah, you build a project workspace. You store your exact professional role, your company details, and your preferred tone.
You can even store your internal team shorthand terms.
Exactly. It raises the floor for every single interaction. Prompts 1 through 4 get instantly stronger.
It's like giving the AI permanent amnesia relief. We don't start at 0 anymore.
That is a great way to put it. Claude already knows your deep business context seamlessly.
The massive project breakdown becomes deeply realistic automatically.
Right, because it already knows your specific team structure and sluggish approval processes.
Should I just dump all my context into one massive project?
You should definitely avoid doing that. The AI gets easily confused. You want separate projects for very different types of work.
Keep separate projects for separate workflows so the tone matches automatically.
Keep your high-level strategy completely separate from your daily client emails. It organizes everything beautifully.
Let's take a moment to recap the big idea here.
None of these 5 frameworks make Claude inherently smarter under the hood. They just give it a much better operational process.
Better answers come from better workflows, not a clever single sentence.
That is the ultimate takeaway. You must build rigid structures around your requests. Stop assuming the AI intimately knows your situation.
You gather constraints first, you review from multiple angles, you build long documents in careful stages.
You map the hidden project dependencies, and you store your context to reduce daily friction.
Try applying just one of these frameworks on your next task. The difference in quality will genuinely surprise you.
It transforms the AI from a simple toy into a reliable strategic partner.
Here's something interesting to mull over today. What if we actively apply this exact logic to how we communicate with humans?
Oh, that is a fascinating thought experiment.
Imagine starting a huge project with a coworker. Before doing anything, you actively ask them to interview you first to uncover hidden assumptions.
You stop the guessing game in your human interactions, too.
Beat. Try one of these prompts out today. Let the AI do the heavy lifting, but you hold the compass.
You always remain in control of the final strategic destination.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.